The flashing patrol lights were off, but Officer Marissa Hale had never felt more exposed in broad daylight. Her police cruiser sat lifeless on the side of a busy Arizona highway, the desert sun glaring down as if it were judging her failure. For a woman who had spent 12 years protecting the streets of Phoenix, nothing had ever made her feel this powerless. Not a suspect fleeing, not a courtroom full of critics, just a silent engine that refused to start. If you believe in kindness and second chances, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Grandma Dearie. Stories like this remind us that sometimes help comes from the most unexpected places. Marissa had already taken the cruiser to 3 certified engineers at a large dealership in downtown Phoenix. They ran diagnostics, replaced sensors, checked the wiring harness, even swapped out the fuel pump. Each time she got the same polite but dismissive answer. The electrical system was unstable. The damage was internal. It would cost the department more than the vehicle was worth. One engineer even suggested retiring the car entirely. The department budget was tight, and her captain made it clear that she might be assigned desk duty until a replacement vehicle became available. For a patrol officer who lived for the open road and community work, that felt like a quiet punishment. The cruiser wasn't just a car to her. It was the last vehicle her late partner, Officer Raymond Cole, had driven before he passed away from a sudden heart condition the previous year. They had served side by side for 7 years. Every scratch on the dashboard carried a memory. Every mile on the odometer reminded her of nights spent protecting neighborhoods together. Letting the car go felt like losing him all over again. Desperate and running out of options, Marissa made a choice that surprised even her. Instead of going back to another polished dealership, she drove the barely functioning cruiser, stalling twice along the way, to a small independent garage on the outskirts of town. The sign above the shop was faded and slightly crooked. It read Eli Turner Auto Repair. The building looked modest, almost forgotten between 2 newer commercial warehouses. Eli Turner was not what she expected. He was in his early 30s, lean, with oil-stained hands and tired but steady eyes. His coveralls were worn at the elbows. The garage floor was clean but old, tools arranged neatly on a pegboard wall. There was no expensive diagnostic machine in sight, no glass office, no waiting lounge with coffee machines. Just a workbench, a radio playing soft country music, and sunlight streaming through dusty windows. Marissa felt a flicker of doubt. She had already trusted experts with degrees and certifications. What could a small-town mechanic possibly do that they could? Eli listened quietly as she explained the history of the car and the failed repairs. He didn't interrupt. He didn't boast. He simply walked around the cruiser slowly, running his fingers along the hood as if greeting an old friend. When he opened it, he didn't rush. He studied the engine with patience that felt almost personal. Hours passed. The Arizona sun shifted across the sky. Eli didn't rely on expensive scanners. Instead, he checked grounds, traced wires manually, removed panels one by one. Marissa watched from a distance, arms crossed, her uniform sharp against the dusty air. She felt foolish for hopping, yet something about his calm focus kept her from leaving. What the engineers had missed was not dramatic. It wasn't a destroyed engine or a catastrophic system failure. It was a corroded grounding point hidden beneath a cluster of wires near the firewall, slowly disrupting the cruiser's electrical system over time. The corrosion was subtle, easy to overlook unless someone cared enough to look beyond the obvious. Eli carefully cleaned the contact, replaced a damaged connector, secured the wiring, and tightened everything back into place. When he asked her to turn the key, she hesitated. She had heard the hollow click of failure too many times before. But this time, the engine roared to life smoothly, steady and strong, as if it had been waiting for someone to finally listen to it. Marissa felt her throat tighten. It wasn't just relief. It was something deeper, gratitude mixed with disbelief. The sound of that engine felt like a voice from the past, like Raymond's laughter echoing faintly in the cabin. Eli wiped his hands on a rag and stepped back, almost shy about the success. He explained what he found in simple terms. No exaggeration. No attempt to belittle the engineers. Just facts. When she asked how much she owed him, his answer stunned her even more. The repair cost was a fraction of what the dealerships had quoted for unnecessary replacements. Marissa later learned that Eli had once been an engineering student at a prestigious university in California. Financial hardship after his father's illness forced him to leave school and return to Phoenix to support his family. He never completed the formal degree that would have earned him the title others respected. Instead, he learned through experience, long nights in the garage, and hands-on persistence. That afternoon, standing in the daylight outside his modest shop, Marissa realized that skill does not always wear a polished badge. Sometimes it hides behind calloused hands and quiet determination. She could have simply paid him and left. Instead, she did something unexpected. She recommended his garage to the department's fleet manager. At first, they were skeptical. But when Eli successfully repaired 2 more vehicles others had written off, the department offered him a contract for maintenance work. The small garage began to see steady business. The crooked sign was replaced. The building was repainted. Yet Eli remained the same humble man, focused on the engines and the people behind them. For Marissa, the restored cruiser meant more than mobility. It felt like closure and continuation at the same time. She returned to patrol with renewed purpose, carrying with her the reminder that assumptions can blind even the most trained professionals. Months later, during a community appreciation event in broad daylight at a neighborhood park, Marissa publicly thanked Eli for his work. She didn't mention the engineers or the failed attempts. She spoke about persistence, about looking closer when others walk away, about believing in people who are overlooked. The applause that followed wasn't just for a mechanic who fixed a car. It was for resilience. Before we reach the end of this story, take a moment to comment below and share where you are watching from. Let kindness travel farther than any highway.